always felt like I've been looking for something, you know? I've never felt like me, Tyrion on my own was enough. I have always felt uncomfortable in my own body. And for as long as I can remember, I've been trying to mask that discomfort with stuff. So I want to find out if it's possible to get rid of these feelings by having faith in something bigger than yourself. My name is Tyrion Boyd, and I am searching for God. Now, I know I am not the only young person in Scotland who feels disconnected from religion. And despite the void I've described, I've tried over and over again in my life to connect to some sense of a higher power, and I've never had any success. Now, I know that God can be an upsetting subject, but I just don't believe that we are all there is. Big daft monkeys on a flying rock? No way, man! There needs to be something else. So I want to find the young Scots who've managed to integrate their faith into their everyday lives and see how that actually benefits them. Jasmeet.
How you doing, Tina? Nice to meet you.
T. Nice to meet you. Oh, that's bad.
Welcome to the Gurdwara.
Thank you. How'd you say?
Gurdwara.
Gurdwara.
Yeah.
Gurdwara. That's fantastic. It's such a nice building.
Thank you. I'm Jasmeet Singh. I'm a third generation Scottish Sikh, and I've lived here and worked here most of my life. Despite having quite a modern job, I dress in very traditional clothes, and this is from trying to reconnect with my roots and my religion. And now for me, I live a life where I try and incorporate the traditional elements of my faith from the Nahang Sikh order alongside the job that I do working in society and in technology spaces.
I've never actually been inside one before. I'm very excited to see it.
Great, well, I'm excited to show you around.
Wow.
So when we come, what we do is we come, we stand, we join our hands and we kind of centre within ourselves first. Okay. And then what we do is we bow. And the reason that we bow is in Sikhism, a massive part on which the religion is based is on overcoming the ego. When you overcome the ego, your true self becomes revealed. So when we come then we bow, we give that ego to the Guru and say, enlighten me. And
just kind of find that quiet place.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing.
Before we go any further, I've asked Jasmeet to give me a quick crash course on Sikhism.
So the Sikh way of living came about in the 1400s from Guru Nanak Dev Ji. The teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji that Sikhs practice today are very much about how, while living an ordinary life, we can connect with the divine around us. So the teachings focus on taking to the Guru, the divine teacher, recognizing God or the divine within ourselves and other people, working honestly while practicing our religion through prayer and meditation, and sharing with others all that we learn.
So, you grew up in Scotland, you've been Sikh your whole life. I imagine, like me, you grew up looking different to probably most of the kids in your class, maybe most of the families in your area. What was it like growing up when you were younger?
I think growing up, there was challenges. Anyone who's different growing up finds those challenges, whether they've got different colour, different way of talking, different type of hair. And part of you probably wants to be what you might think of as normal. So your identity, you're almost gravitating a little bit towards that. What I found as I got older, that the part of me that was different, rather than having that as a struggle or something that, you know, became almost like an obstacle from doing things, is actually trying to connect with it. Okay, if I've got a physical appearance, what is it that's the substance behind this? And trying to connect with that, the practice of that, and explore my own roots a bit more.
Right, so instead of hiding it away,
yeah,
you're going, I'm different, but I'm going into it. Like,
yeah,
let's see what this is all about.
Growing up now, I'm a lot more confident in my own skin, and people do come up, people will compliment. A lot of people will look twice. As long as you smile, it's usually all right. But someone will just stick in it.
Man, you are like a proper teacher, eh? You teach, man. Wow. So my mum is white and Scottish. My dad is brown and Emirati. I was raised by my mum in Castlemilk, which is a housing scheme on the south side of Glasgow. I was sent to a nearby Catholic school, but my family wasn't religious at all. And since I had never been baptised, it meant that I couldn't do certain things that the rest of the kids could. I got in touch with my dad much later in life, but I felt like I couldn't connect with the Arab side of my family either, because everyone around me was Muslim except for me. So not being able to access either Catholicism or Islam left me feeling even more isolated. So you've taught me the kind of cultural significance and the importance that comes with wearing a turban. So if it's all right, I would love if you could like take me through the act, time one, putting one on?
Yeah, shall we go do it now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brilliant, let's go. You ready?
I think so. So am I right in saying this is a pug?
Yeah.
And what age do you get a pug at?
Different ages. People sometimes start tying them from 12 or 16 or when they become adults.
The actual act of putting it on, is that kind of like, is that like a spiritual thing?
So in some families it can be like coming to age. You know, maybe when people go to like a shrine or they'll wear one and tie one, and it becomes sort of part of connecting with the Sikh experience and the Sikh history.
Yeah. I'm feeling like a slight tingling in my hair, like I've just become very aware of my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whoa. Remind myself of my granddad. My granddad passed away kind of recently, man. He used to always wear like a kind of headscarf thing, man, and I don't know if I'm just getting reminded of that, seeing this, but no, it's really beautiful, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for tying that. My whole life, I've felt isolated. Outside of two major religions, but longing for a sense of belonging and community. And I think that a lot of young people share that sense of isolation, that we don't have anywhere to congregate. Hence why we're going to bars and pubs and clubs. But I want to feel like I'm part of a community. I want to feel like I'm part of something. What's one of the main benefits you experience for being part of such a big intertwined community?
I think it's the ability to serve. These spaces, a lot of the times that people go into them, they're looking for a sense of purpose, aren't they? They're looking for a sense of belonging. And when you start to build that virtue of humility, when you start to serve, when you start to see your purpose is serving others within whichever community you are, and you start to get your joy from that.
Right, you get your joy from the
You get your joy
service.
from that, yeah, then I think you're going in the right direction.
We've just spent the day in the Gurdwara, it was beautiful. And now I want to talk to you about religion and faith and the way that intersects, and I thought the best place to ask it was out here in nature.
And the daily prayers that we read, the earth is referred to as the mother. So if you think of the symbolic status that the feminine holds in religion, and then it's saying that this earth is our mother. So when we're out in this space, when we're out in nature, it's almost like the throne of the divine.
Wow. So anything, no matter what's up, go see your mum, go see nature, and you'll feel better about it. I just want to talk a bit about addiction in the Sikh religion, because I saw a sign at the Gurdwara that said no tobacco, alcohol, drugs.
There's a view that Eastern religion and philosophy have that we exist in a state of suffering, and because of that we have a void, and we tend to look for things that fill that void, offering things that are temporary. And the spiritual path is one that tries to kind of take you on a different path. That is saying rather than bringing in external substances to fill that internal void, search deeper within yourself for a thrill that is within you, doesn't require you to use or access something out with of you, and is permanent and it's accessible.
I always had an addictive personality. For as long as I could remember, there's always been something in me that just doesn't feel right. Like something in me that says that I'm no good enough and that I need something else to make myself feel better. When I was very, very young, it was food. And then as I got older, I would use alcohol, drugs, sex, toxic relationships, absolutely anything that I could just to try to make myself feel all right. But none of it worked. Absolutely none of it worked. It just left me feeling worse and worse and worse until eventually I hit my own personal rock bottom and I found myself having to go into a 12-step addiction recovery group. I was in a room full of strangers and I just suddenly started pouring all this stuff onto them. But what's interesting for me is that it doesn't matter what you're addicted to, whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, social media. To recover, you need to find some sort of higher power, whatever that means to you. And recovery does the exact same thing that religion is trying to do. It takes you for this place of sadness and darkness, for this ego-driven madness, and gives you a bridge to a place of higher connection. So what I want to find out is it possible for me to let some sort of faith into my life to try and get rid of this darkness. Because the nightclub ain't cutting it, man. I need some sort of church.